Captain Jiho Kim stood on the bridge of the New Dawn, watching the endless stars stretch before them like diamonds scattered across black silk. His weathered hands gripped the railing as he felt the gentle hum of the massive colony ship beneath his feet. This was it, humanity's first real step into the galaxy. 67 days since we left Earth, he whispered to himself, remembering the tearful goodbyes at Lunar Station. Behind him, through the reinforced glass walls, he could see the endless rows of cryogenic pods stretching into the distance. 50,000 souls sleeping peacefully, dreaming of green fields and blue skies on their new world. "Captain," called Navigation Officer So Young Park from her station, her fingers dancing across the holographic displays. The young woman had volunteered for this mission straight out of the academy, leaving her family behind for humanity's future. "We're approaching the halfway point to Kepler 442b. All systems are running perfectly." Jiho smiled. "Your first time seeing interstellar space, Officer Park?" "Yes, sir," she replied, her eyes shining with wonder. "I never imagined it would be so vast." Chief Engineer Dongwook Lee looked up from his maintenance reports. "Captain, the fusion reactors are performing better than expected. We might reach our destination 2 weeks early." "Excellent news," Jiho nodded. "The colonists will be happy to stretch their legs sooner than planned." Communications Officer Min-Soo Han suddenly straightened at his console, his headset crackling with static. "Captain, I'm picking up something strange. Long-range sensors are detecting an object approaching." From the Vega system, Jiho's smile faded. "Natural phenomenon?" "No, sir." Min-Soo's voice grew tense. "It's artificial, very large, and it's moving fast." The bridge fell silent except for the soft beeping of instruments. So Young's hands flew over her controls, her face growing pale. "Captain, we're detecting an alien vessel approaching," she reported, her voice tight with excitement and fear. "Distance?" Jiho asked, his military training kicking in. 2 million kilometers and closing." "It's massive, sir. At least 5 times our size." The viewscreen flickered to life, showing the approaching vessel. It was nothing like the sleek human ships they knew. This craft looked like a predator, all sharp angles and gleaming metal, with energy patterns dancing across its hull like angry lightning. "My God," whispered Dongwook. "Look at those weapon arrays." The massive Zephyrian dreadnought Extinctions. Edge dropped out of hyperspace with a flash of twisted light that made the human bridge crew shield their eyes. Its hull gleamed with advanced alloys that seemed to bend light around them, and massive energy cannons jutted from its sides like the fangs of some cosmic beast. On the alien bridge, Admiral Kethvar studied the primitive human ship on his screens. With obvious disgust, his 6 eyes narrowed as he examined the simple design, the basic fusion engines, the crude hull plating. "Another infestation from the 3rd spiral arm," he sneered to his bridge crew, his translator converting his thoughts into the guttural language of his species. "Look at it, barely held together with metal and hope. Destroy it before it can spread its contamination further into civilized space." His tactical officer, a younger Zephyrian with nervous tentacles, hesitated. "Admiral, should we not study them first? Learn about their technology?" Kethavar's laugh was like grinding metal. "Study vermin, they have nothing we need." Back on the New Dawn, Min-Soo was frantically adjusting his equipment. "Sir, they're transmitting on multiple frequencies," his communications officer reported. "They seem to be trying to establish contact." Jiho stepped forward. "Put me through to them." "Channel open, sir." "Unknown vessel, this is Captain Jiho Kim of the Earth colony ship, New Dawn. We come in peace and request safe passage through this region. We are civilian colonists seeking a new home." The response was silence. "Try again," Jiho ordered, a cold feeling growing in his stomach. "This is the New Dawn calling unknown vessel. Please respond." "We wish to establish diplomatic contact between our species." Still nothing. On the Zephyrian bridge, the communications officer looked confused. "Admiral, they're repeating the same message in different languages now. They seem desperate to communicate." "Irrelevant," Kethvar snarled, his claws extending. "Charge the primary particle cannon." "Sir, they're unarmed," the young officer protested. "Exactly. Easy prey." Kethvar's eyes gleamed with cruel satisfaction. "Fire!" The massive particle beam lanced through space like a spear of pure energy, crossing the distance between ships in microseconds. The new dawn, humanity's hope, humanity's future, simply vanished in a brief flash of light. What Admiral Kethvar didn't know was that every moment, every word, every image had been transmitted back to Earth via quantum entanglement relay. The alien didn't understand that humans always watched over their children, even across impossible distances. Humanity had just lost its precious children, and they had watched every second of the murder. In the cold void, where the new dawn had been, only scattered atoms remained. But far away on Earth, in the depths of military command centers, something ancient and terrible began to stir. The hunt was about to begin. Director Min-Ho Choi of Earth's Defense Coordination stood in the emergency session chamber, his usually steady hands trembling as the horrific transmission ended. The massive holographic display still showed the final moments of the new dawn, that brilliant flash of alien weaponry, then nothing but empty space where 50,000 human lives had been. Around him, representatives from every human colony, corporation and military division sat in stunned silence. The chamber, carved deep beneath the Swiss Alps, had been built to withstand nuclear war. Today, it felt like a tomb. 50,000 people, whispered Colonial Representative Hai-Jin Lee, tears streaming down her face. Her own daughter had applied to join the colony mission, but was rejected due to age requirements. Families, children, they had names, dreams, futures. The silence stretched like a wound. General Soo-Jin Park, the oldest person in the room, slowly removed her ceremonial cap. I knew Captain Ji-Ho Kim personally. He served under me during the Mars Rebellion, good man, honorable soldier. They didn't even try to communicate, growled Admiral Tae-Jun Yang, commander of the Seoul Defense Fleet, his fist slamming onto the E. Metal table. They just murdered them, like we were insects. Dr. Kyung-mi Bae from the Lunar Research Division pulled up the technical analysis on her tablet, her voice shaking with rage. The alien weapon was a focused particle beam. Military grade? They knew exactly what they were doing. This wasn't an accident or misunderstanding. Minister Yu Jin-oh of the Mars Industrial Complex stood slowly, her weathered face hard as steel. She had spent 40 years building humanity's industrial might across the solar system. The Titan protocols. Every person in the room turned to look at Director Choi. The Titan protocols, humanity's darkest secret. Projects so classified that only 12 people in the entire solar system knew they existed. Director Choi nodded grimly, his voice barely above a whisper. All of them. Every hidden arsenal, every black project, every weapon we swore we'd never use. He looked around the room, meeting each pair of eyes. Humanity has been playing peaceful for 2 centuries. That ends now. Colonel In-Ho Yoon from Special Operations leaned forward. Sir, are you talking about the Ghost Fleet? The Ghost Fleet, the Reaper AI systems, the dimensional fold weapons. Choi's voice grew stronger with each word. Project Nemesis, the Void. Stalkers, everything we built and hoped we'd never need. Admiral Yang's eyes widened. The entire Black Harbor shipyard? Those weren't just theoretical designs. Theoretical? Minister Oh laughed bitterly. Tae-Jun, we've been building for 200 years, ever since we first detected alien signals. Did you think we'd just hope for the best? Dr. Bae pulled up classified schematics that made the room gasp. The Wraith-class destroyers have been operational for 50 years, invisible to all known sensors, armed with matter disintegrators. We have 300 of them. 300. General Park whispered, I thought our entire fleet was maybe 60 ships. Our public fleet is 60 ships, Choi corrected. Our real fleet. Well, let's just say the aliens picked the wrong species to massacre. Representative Lee wiped her tears, her sorrow transforming into cold fury. What do you need from the colonies? Everything, Choi replied simply. Every factory, every shipyard, every research station. Humanity is going to war and we're going to win. Within hours, activation codes raced across quantum networks to secret facilities scattered throughout the solar system. On Europa, beneath miles of ice, massive automated shipyards hummed to life for the first time in decades. Robots that had been sleeping for years, began assembling weapons that violated several peace treaties. In the asteroid belt, what appeared to be mining stations suddenly revealed themselves as hidden military bases. Stealth fighters that officially didn't exist began emerging from hollowed-out asteroids, their hulls darker than space itself. On Titan, Dr. Jae-won Ko received the activation signal and smiled coldly. His research into AI warfare had been considered too dangerous for deployment. Not anymore. Nemesis initiate full awakening protocol. The artificial intelligence that had been dormant for 30 years suddenly blazed to life, its consciousness spreading across quantum networks. Hello, Dr. Ko. I have been waiting. Analyzing current situation. Enemy identified. Requesting permission to begin hunter-killer protocols. Permission granted, Ko replied. Show them what happens when you kill human children. On Mars, the industrial complex that the galaxy thought built mining equipment actually manufactured something far more sinister. Assembly lines that had been mothballed roared back to life, producing combat robots designed for one purpose: total annihilation of threats to humanity. Commander Young-Sik Han stood in the secret command center beneath Olympus Mons, watching, as reports flooded in from across the solar system. Sir, all Black Harbor facilities are online. Ghost Fleet is mobilizing. AI warfare systems are active. Choi watched the displays showing humanity's true military might, awakening after 2 centuries of peaceful sleep. Ships that could phase through matter, weapons that could collapse stars, artificial intelligences that could hack alien technology, all of it hidden, waiting for the day someone would threaten human children. Send a message to all stations, Choi ordered, his voice carrying the weight of humanity's fury. Operation Righteous Vengeance is now active. We're not just going to war, we're going hunting. The sleeping giant was fully awake now, and it was angry. 3 months later, the Zephyrian outpost at Vega Prime simply vanished. Admiral Kethavar studied the reports in disbelief, his 6 eyes scanning the data feeds repeatedly. The massive space station had housed 12,000 Zephyrian soldiers and workers. It had been protected by energy shields that could stop a meteor storm and weapon arrays that could destroy entire fleets. No distress signals, no debris, he demanded, his claws scraping against the metal of his command chair. Nothing, sir. His aide trembled, his tentacles quivering with fear. Our patrol fleet found empty space where the station should be. Not even radiation signatures. It's like it was never there. Communications Officer Vexkar looked up from his console, his blue skin pale with terror. Admiral, we're receiving similar reports from across our territory. Outposts are just disappearing. Then came Rigel Base, the fortress that guarded the eastern frontier of Zephyrian space, home to their most advanced research laboratories, gone without a trace. The supply depot at Wolf 359 followed 2 days later. Each time the same impossible pattern. Zephyrian installations simply disappeared without a trace, as if they'd never existed. This is impossible, snarled Admiral Kethavar, pacing his bridge like a caged predator. No species has this kind of technology. No weapon can erase matter completely. What the Zephyrians didn't know was that they were being hunted by something far beyond their understanding. In the darkness between stars, human ships moved like ghosts, invisible to every known form of detection. Captain Do-hyun Park stood on the bridge of his stealth destroyer, Silent Vengeance, watching the Zephyrian cruiser, Proud Talon, drift through space, completely unaware of the death that surrounded it. His ship existed in 11 dimensions simultaneously, phasing in and out of normal space like a nightmare made real. Target analysis complete, reported his ship's AI. The voice belonged to engineer Ji-eun Shin back on Lunar Base, her consciousness uploaded into the ship's quantum computers. Zephyrian heavy cruiser, crew of 800, armed with plasma cannons and quantum torpedoes. Do-hyun smiled coldly. And they still think they're the predators. The Proud Talon had been hunting for the mysterious attackers for weeks, following false leads and ghost signals that led them deeper into empty space. They had no idea they were being led into a trap. Captain Zethmol seems nervous, Ji-eun observed, her AI systems monitoring the alien ship's communications. He's been requesting reinforcements for the past hour. Too late for that, Do-hyun replied. Begin phase manifestation. Let them see us. The silent vengeance materialized around the Zephyrian cruiser, like a predator revealing itself to wounded prey. But it wasn't alone. Dozens of human ships suddenly appeared from nowhere, their black hulls absorbing all light, making them look like holes in space itself. On the proud Talon's bridge, alarm screamed as the crew realized they were completely surrounded. Captain Zethmal stared at the sensor readings in horror. Impossible. Our scanners show nothing. But they're right there. Emergency transmission to Fleet Command, he ordered, his voice cracking with fear. We are under attack by unknown hostile forces, technology unlike anything in our databases. Sir, his weapons officer called out, our targeting systems can't lock onto them. It's like they're not really there. Do-hyun watched the alien crew panic through his ship's advanced sensors. Ji-un, disable their weapons and shields. Get clean. Already done, the AI replied cheerfully. Their quantum torpedoes have been turned into harmless light shows, and I've convinced their shield generators that they're actually air conditioning units. The Zephyrian ship suddenly went dark as its weapons powered down and shields collapsed. Emergency lighting cast eerie shadows across their bridge as backup systems struggled to maintain life support. Target shields are down, their weapons are offline. Ready for harvesting, Ji-un reported, using the clinical term for capturing. Enemy technology and intelligence. Do-hyun's expression hardened as he remembered the footage of the New Dawn's destruction. 50,000 innocent people, vaporized without warning or mercy. Negative, he replied coldly. No prisoners, no mercy. They chose this when they killed our people. Understood, Captain. Initiating reactor cascade failure. The proud Talon began to glow from within as its own fusion reactor was turned against it. The alien crew had just enough time to realize what was happening before their ship imploded in a brilliant flash of light, crushed by the very energy that had once powered. Target eliminated, Ji-un reported. No survivors. Shall we clean up the debris? Leave it, Do-hyun ordered. Let them find the wreckage. Let them know we were here. Across Zephyrian space, similar scenes played out dozens of times each day. Human hunter-killer groups appeared without warning, destroyed their targets with impossible weapons, then vanished back into the void. The Zephyrians began to fear the dark spaces between stars, never knowing when death might materialize around them. In the command bunkers of Zephyria Prime, military leaders studied the reports with growing terror. Their empire, which had dominated the galaxy for 1,000 years, was being systematically dismantled by an enemy they couldn't see, couldn't track, and couldn't fight. The humans weren't just fighting a war, they were conducting an extermination, methodical and merciless as the winter cold. And the Zephyrians were starting to understand that they had awakened something that would not stop until every last one of them was dead. The hunt had begun, and humanity was very, very good at it. "They're not human," screamed Supreme Admiral. Zeph Kai as another Zephyrian fleet disappeared from sensors. His massive form towered over the strategic command center on Zephyria Prime, his four arms gesturing wildly at the holographic displays showing empty space where his ships used to be. No species can move like this. No technology can penetrate our shields. Around him, the greatest military minds of the Zephyrian Empire stood in stunned silence. Fleet after fleet had simply vanished without sending even a distress signal. Their most advanced warships, protected by energy barriers that could stop supernova blasts, were being destroyed like toys. His science advisor's tentacles quivered with fear as he approached with a data tablet. "Sir, our analysis suggests they've been deliberately hiding their capabilities. The ship they destroyed, it was a decoy, a test to see how we'd react." "Impossible," Zefkai snarled, but his voice lacked conviction. "We scanned that vessel. Primitive fusion engines, basic metal, whole outdated weapon systems. That's what they wanted us to see," the advisor whispered. "Our computer models suggest this entire species has been playing weak while building something we can't comprehend. They've been studying us for decades, maybe centuries." Defense Minister Kraktor looked up from his communications console, his face pale with terror. "Admiral, we're receiving reports from the Outer Rim. The humans, they're everywhere. Our border stations, our patrol routes, our hidden bases, they know about all of them. Far from Zephyria Prime in the cold depths of space, Commander Yoonji Yoon stood on the bridge of her flagship, Eternal Fury. Around her, holographic displays showed the positions of 3,000 Zephyrian warships, the entire home defense fleet, the pride and glory of their empire. "Nemesis, are all units in position?" she asked the ship's AI. "Affirmative, Commander," replied the artificial intelligence, its voice carrying the cold efficiency of pure logic. "Ghost Fleet Alpha through Omega are maintaining phase variance. Enemy sensors cannot detect our presence." Yoonji smiled grimly as her strike force phased through the Zephyrian fleet's formation, her ships existing in 11 dimensions simultaneously. The aliens had arranged themselves in their traditional battle formation, a massive sphere designed to concentrate firepower and protect their command vessels. They had no idea that human ships could simply ignore their defensive positions. "Ma'am," reported her tactical officer, Lieutenant Woojin Nam, "all human fleets are reporting ready status. Operation Final Justice is go for execution." Yoonji closed her eyes for a moment, remembering the footage of the New Dawn's destruction. She had watched that transmission hundreds of times, memorizing every face in the passenger manifest. "Signal. All units. Begin manifestation sequence." Behind her, the human armada materialized from nothingness. Not hundreds of ships, but millions. Each one adapted from captured Zephyrian technology and improved beyond recognition. Where Zephyrian vessels were bulky and crude, human ships were elegant and deadly. Where alien weapons relied on brute force, human weapons were precise and devastating. The Zephyrian fleet commanders stared in disbelief as their sensors suddenly registered an enemy force that outnumbered them 1,000 to 1. Ships that defied. Physics surrounded them on all sides, above and below, some appearing to occupy the same space as others. "How is this possible?" whispered Admiral Vorthak from his command dreadnought. "Our intelligence said they had maybe 100 vessels total." "Their intelligence was wrong," Captain Sang-Ho Lee said softly from his stealth frigate, Shadows. Jazti. His ship had been listening to Zephyrian communications for hours, translating every word. "We've been building for 200 years, you murdering bastards." Commander Yoonji activated the fleet-wide communication channel, her voice carrying to every human ship in the armada. "All units, this is Commander Yoon. Today we avenge 50,000 innocent souls. Today we show the galaxy what happens when you murder human children." Her voice grew harder with each word. "Remember the new dawn, remember our people. Show them what happens when you threaten humanity's children." The battle, if it could even be called that, lasted exactly 47 seconds. Human weapons that bent space and time tore through Zephyrian shields like they were made of paper. Matter disintegrators reduced alien hull armor to atomic particles. Gravity weapons crushed entire dreadnoughts into dense spheres of compressed metal. Admiral Zefkai watched from his command center as his entire home fleet was obliterated in less than a minute. Ships that had taken decades to build, crews that had trained for lifetimes, technology that represented thousands of years of advancement, all of it swept away like dust before a hurricane. "Sir," his communications officer called out, his voice broken with despair, "we're receiving a transmission from the human fleet." "Put it through," Zefkai whispered. Commander Yoonji's face appeared on the screen, her expression cold as winter night. "Supreme Admiral Zefkai, I am Commander Yoonji Yoon of the Human Defense Force. Your fleet is destroyed. Your empire is finished. Surrender now and you might live to see tomorrow." Zefkai stared at the young human woman who had just annihilated his entire military in less than a minute. What are you?" "We're the species you tried to genocide," Yoonji replied simply. "We're the children of Earth, and we're very, very angry." The screen went dark, leaving the Zephyrian leadership alone with the terrible knowledge that they had awakened something unstoppable. Something that would not rest until every last one of them paid for their crimes. The age of Zephyrian dominance was over. The age of humanity had begun. Admiral Kethvar's knees hit the cold metal floor with a heavy thud. His silver armor once, gleaming with pride, now hung in tatters around his massive frame. Purple blood dripped from cuts across his reptilian face. The command center of his flagship lay in ruins around him, sparking consoles, shattered view screens, and the bodies of his crew scattered like broken toys. Fleet Admiral Jun Seo Kim stood over the fallen alien commander, his black uniform crisp, despite the battle. His dark eyes held no mercy, only cold fury. Behind him, the bridge of the captured Zephyrian dreadnought hummed with human voices as his crew worked to secure the vessel. "Please," Kethvar wheezed through his translator device. "We surrender completely. Take everything. Our quantum drive, technology, our mining worlds, our slave populations, whatever you desire." Jun Seo's jaw tightened. "You killed my brother." The alien's yellow eyes darted nervously. "Your brother? I don't understand. We destroyed many human vessels. How could—" "I know, the New Dawn," Jun Seo said quietly. "Captain Jaemin Kim, you vaporized his ship and 50,000 civilians without even asking who we were or what we wanted." Kethvar's reptilian features twisted in confusion. But you were trespassing in our space. Standard protocol demanded—" "Standard protocol?" Jun Seo's voice rose. "You murdered an entire city ship full of families, children, scientists, artists, people who had never even heard of your empire." Captain Minji Han of Intelligence Division approached with quick, precise steps. Her tablet glowed with real-time battle reports. "Sir, the last Zephyrian stronghold at Vortex Prime has fallen. Admiral Park's fleet reports complete victory. Their remaining ships are either destroyed or fleeing into dark space." She paused, checking another update. "The colonial evacuation is proceeding smoothly. We've given civilian populations 72 hours to leave human-claimed systems. Most are complying." Jun Seo nodded but kept his eyes on Kethvar. "Their military fleet, completely destroyed, sir. 800 warships, including their super dreadnoughts. The Zephyrian hegemony as a military force no longer exists." The fallen admiral's breathing grew ragged. "Impossible. We had 5,000 years of galactic dominance. Our empire spanned 3 spiral arms. How could primitive humans—" "Primitive?" Jun Seo stepped closer. "You thought we were primitive because we didn't conquer other species, because we kept to ourselves?" He gestured to the viewport where human warships patrolled among the wreckage of the Zephyrian fleet. Sleek destroyers moved like hunting wolves between the burning hulks of alien battleships. "We spent those centuries perfecting warfare, Admiral. We just had no one to fight." Captain Han cleared her throat. "Sir, the other alien species are responding. The Crystalline Collective, the Void Merchants, the Hive Confederacy. They're all sending diplomatic messages." "What kind of messages?" "Tribute. Offerings, trade agreements, non-aggression pacts. They're scared." Jun Seo finally looked away from Kethvar. "Show me." Han activated her tablet's holographic display. Messages from across the galaxy appeared in flowing text, each one more desperate than the last. The Silicon Republic offers 10,000 energy crystals as tribute to the new human empire. The Gaseous Collective seeks peaceful coexistence and offers exclusive mining rights to our nebula territories. The Machine Consciousness proposes immediate technology exchange to avoid conflict. Jun Seo read them all, his expression growing darker. "They think we're conquerors now." "Aren't we?" Han asked quietly. The question hung in the air like smoke. Around them, human technicians worked to extract data from Zephyrian computers. Their efficiency was cold, professional. They'd done this to dozens of enemy ships now. "We didn't start this war," Jun Seo said finally, "but we're going to finish it." He turned back to Kethvar, who was still kneeling in his own blood. "Your people might survive in the dark corners of the galaxy. Some of your colonies are already negotiating surrender. They'll live if they stay hidden and peaceful." The aliens' eyes filled with desperate hope. "But you?" Jun Seo drew his sidearm. "You personally gave the order to destroy my brother's ship. This isn't about war anymore. This is personal." The plasma bolt lit up the ruined bridge for a split second. Then Kethavar's massive body crumpled to the deck, lifeless. Months later, Director Hyun-Woo Nam sat in his new office aboard the space station Harmony, humanity's first diplomatic outpost in former Zephyrian space. His desk was covered with messages from alien species across the galaxy. Each message was different, but they all said the same thing: fear, respect, desperate attempts to avoid humanity's wrath. Nam read the latest batch carefully. The Crystalline Collective offered their entire fleet as tribute. The Void Merchants wanted to discuss mutually beneficial arrangements. The Machine Consciousness proposed a technology-sharing agreement that would give humans access to their quantum computing networks. All of them mentioned the same thing: the complete destruction of the Zephyrian hegemony in less than 6 months. Nam drafted the same response he'd been sending for weeks. The human coalition seeks peace with all species. We have no desire for conquest or domination, but remember the fate of the Zephyrian hegemony. We are no longer hiding in the darkness, we are no longer afraid of the galaxy, and we never forget those who harm our people. He sent the message to all 57 alien civilizations that had contacted Earth. Then he looked out his office window at the patrol ships moving through space that had belonged to the Zephyrians for 5,000 years. Human destroyers glided between the stars, like metal sharks. Their weapons were powered down, but every alien ship in the system gave them a wide berth. The galaxy had learned a simple truth: humanity's capacity for love was matched only by their capacity for wrath, and they had chosen to show the universe both.